Meanwhile, North Korea has left the door open for diplomacy with Washington. An envoy for Pyongyang saying that his country is willing to hold open talks with the United States. The announcement coming today as that official shared a VIP box with first daughter Ivanka Trump at the closing ceremonies for the Winter Olympics in South Korea. Now, they did not appear to interact, but it comes as the Trump administration levels new sanctions against the North for its nuclear program. Joining me right now is Gordon Chang, expert on that part of the country, author of Nuclear Showdown: North Korea Takes on the World. Good to see you, Gordon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Your take on this most recent provocation and admission from the North saying, yeah, we will talk to the United States.
Well, I think the North Korea wants to talk because sanctions, UN sanctions and Trump administration sanctions are starting to bite. And we're seeing even new evidence of this. And that is, for instance, some people are saying that the North's foreign currency reserves could run out by October. And Office Number 39, which is the North Korean slush fund, is running low of money. So this is an indication that the North wants relief from sanctions and thinks that by talking to South Korea and the United States, it can get it. I don't think the Trump administration is going to be fooled by the North Koreans this time.
You know, some people say, look, this is a killer. This is a person who doesn't care about human rights. I'm talking about Kim Jong-un and his country. Why does he care about sanctions? So do sanctions really work?
Well, sanctions will work. I mean, it depends on how much political will the administration has. It has a program which it's instituted from the beginning of its time in office of really trying to cut off the money. Because if you don't have money, Kim Jong-un can't launch missiles, he can't detonate nukes, and he can't get engaged in gift politics, which is the giving of Mercedes and Rolexes to senior regime figures to buy their loyalty. That really then goes to the whole stability of the regime. So sanctions are beginning to work, but we need to do a lot more because we have yet to go after, for instance, the big power sponsors of North Korea, Russia and China. And until we do that, we're not going to be able to cut off all the money going into Pyongyang.
Is that what you want to see from the Trump administration next? How has this Trump approach been toward the North?
Well, it's been good in the sense that the underlying policy is to cut off the money. They've signaled to the Chinese and to the Russians that they've got to get out of the sanctions-busting business. But, you know, we've seen Chinese ships, the ship-to-ship transfers in the last couple of days. That's a violation of last September UN sanctions. And there's been consistently North Korean ships in Chinese ports in the last few months. As President Trump said in that famous tweet, we've caught the Chinese red-handed. And now we've got to actually impose some costs to stop the Chinese from really some very destructive conduct in supporting the North.
Do you think China has shown a willingness to be on the side of the U.S.? I mean, China, I think, has shown both ways, right? Because China doesn't want disruption right outside of its doorstep, and it doesn't want tons of refugees coming into China.
Well, you know, on the refugees, if there's a real collapse of the North Korean regime, those refugees are going to move south through the demilitarized zone, because we've demined about 3 corridors through the zone, and they'd rather be with other Koreans than with the Chinese who don't like them. You know, they have 2 millennia of conflict, so they're going to move south. But, you know, with regard to China, they are sort of moving in the right direction, but that's only because Trump has pushed them. Now, Trump has to, I think, go even further in order to get the Chinese to do what we really want, which is to cut off that money flow.
All right, we'll be watching that. Gordon, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Maria.
We appreciate it very much. Gordon Chang weighing in there.